Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm Billy Boudreaux. Got a couple of people to introduce to you. First of all, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard every Wednesday night on blogtalkradio.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. The one, the only, illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Starr. Rick, how you doing tonight?
I think I'm getting by after watching that Raw, but I think I'm going to make it.
Yep, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We also have the man from South Park, simply known as Cartman. Cartman, how you doing?
What up, Paypals?
Well, we're getting ready to talk about the first Monday Night Raw for the week of January 7th, 2013. Now, we're going to go to Rick Starr. Rick, talk about how this first matchup was set up for Monday Night Raw.
Well, as always, which seems to be a new trait, Cena came out to the ring to get the fans going. He talked about how the previous Raw ended, where he injured, came in on Dolph Ziggler and AJ's toast, which was the end of Raw's last Raw of 2012. And after they went back and forth and pretty much said everything that AJ had slept with for the past 5 guys, he dumped shit on him. Of course, Dolph Ziggler comes out, and they keep on talking back and forth. Cena's like, look, I don't want to talk anymore. Let's just get a match. Come on, come in right now. Let's fight. Of course, in Dolph Ziggler fashion, he backtracks, says, no, I'm going to fight you when I'm good and ready. And then a weird thing happens. You said you missed it. Biggie Langston grabs the mic and says, no, I got the mic. Now I'm talking. And goes, Dolph's going to fight you tonight.
Yep, exactly. Which leads into the opening match for Monday Night Raw, John Cena and Dolph Ziggler. And if WWE wanted to start off the new year with Monday Night Raw with bang, they definitely did get the job done with Cena and Ziggler. These two clash. It is always a real treat to see, whether it's an opening match or a main event or a Money in the Bank ladder match. No matter what kind of type of match that Cena and Ziggler are involved in, something epic always happens, and it is always a very entertaining match. Very interesting things happen in the match, back and forth. At one point, when Cena was going for the STF on Dolph Ziggler, Cena lost his shoe. I have never I've watched wrestling for 25 years, guys. I have never seen a wrestler lose a shoe or a boot while executing a maneuver, whether it be an STF or anything. So that was kind of unique to see, and also kind of gross to see the sweat buildup on the sock of John Cena. And boy, does somebody need some odor eaters. I feel bad for the fans in the front row who actually had to smell John Cena's foot and his shoes all the way from there. But
I feel bad for the fans. I feel bad for the person who has to do his laundry.
Oh yeah, I feel bad for them too. But Biggie, referee gets knocked out in the match. Biggie Langston comes in to try to polish off Cena. Then we got another referee in, and we got a 2 count. Then Cena out of nowhere miraculously gets the AA, gets the pin, gets the win over Dolph Ziggler. I thought this was a very good, entertaining match. And from the way it sounded like a really good build. And I miss Biggie Langston on the microphone. I have one of those cable box guys that the only way I can change the channel is with the remote control, and I had misplaced my remote control for the first 10 minutes of Monday Night Raw until I was able to find it. So, but I was then able to catch the full match with Cena and Dolph Ziggler. I thought, like I said, an explosive start, a great way to start off Monday Night Raw. 4.5 out of 5 for me. But next up, Cartman, we had the Divas title on the line.
Yes, and I'm surprised it went more than 3 minutes. That surprised me. But yeah, it was actually, to Divas standards, it was actually pretty decent. But I said, yeah, that, and yeah, Caitlyn looked like she was gonna win the match, and then Eve bitched out, so to speak, and ran away. Which obviously gave Caitlyn the win, but by count out, so therefore Caitlyn did not become Divas champion.
Your score?
Considering it is a Divas match, I'll score it quite generously, and I'll give it a 3.5.
Well, Rick, we had yet another continuing battle in the saga of Team Rope Scholars and Team Hell No. Rick, next.
Yes, this was a non-title match. It was a fairly good match. It wasn't really a long match. Again, it was kind of a 3-4 minute match. But the ending was pretty good. Of course, there was some chaos on the Rhodes Scholar side of the ring where they kept on. When Daniel Bryan got injured, towards the middle of the ring, where he was a spotted injury, and of course they started targeting his knee. He got tied up in the ropes, and both members of Rhodes Scholars was attacking the knee. Kane runs over to try to, get him unpinned, get him untangled. This caused the ref to try to get Kane back. Rhodes picks up Bryan, hits him with the crossroads, gets the 3 count. So overall score, I think was okay. 3 out of 5.
As we hear the band from South Park known as Cartman grabbing some snacks during this week's Monday Night Raw review. The next matchup was set up with Randy Orton in a backstage interview talking about the Royal Rumble and what everything that happened to him on Friday Night SmackDown, with Sheamus also revealing the fact that he's in the Royal Rumble. He gets interrupted by the 3MB, Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre, and Jinder Jobber Mahal, all saying that they're going to be in the Royal Rumble this year. And they start to brag about it. And Orton says, "It doesn't matter which one I'm going to face. I'm going to face one of you." And Slater starts, getting cocky, saying, "Who are you going to face? Our lead guitarist, Jinder Mahal, our lead bass, Drew McIntyre, or the front man of the 3MB, Heath Slater?" Orton says, "Doesn't matter who I face. After tonight, you won't be playing air guitars. You'll be playing harps," which leads into this matchup with Orton and Heath Slater. Decent at best. Of course, we had to have 3MB at ringside, and at one point, they pretty much. It's basically in this match, Orton owns 3MB, and of course, 3MB gets turned into 3 RKOs as Slater gets the RKO, loses the match. They get 3MB comes back in the ring to try to extract revenge on Randy Orton, and they both get an RKO for their troubles. I'm gonna go 2.5 out of 5 on this one. Just because, it's 3MB and it's a gimmick that's really, it's dying worse than the Funkasaurus gimmick, to say the least. But but up next with the next matchup was set up, as Cartman will get to it in a second, is with Santino Marella in the back. He's talking with the legendary Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Now, they're both talking about his legendary match with Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3 for the Intercontinental title, and they start talking about how they were both good Intercontinental champions. Wayne Barrett comes in to say that, he makes the title legit again, and the Dragon is just blowing smoke. And then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat offers to be in Santino Marella's corner for this match. So, Cartman, what exactly happens in this match?
As obvious as it can be, it would be stupid for the WWE to hand the title over to Santino, so obviously they keep the title with Barrett, and it was obvious.
It was non-title.
Yeah, but still, it was obvious they weren't going to try to start a feud between Santino and Barrett. It would make no sense. Even, yeah, especially because Santino already, not Santino, because Barrett already has a feud with Kofi.
Oh yeah. Rick, I gotta ask you a question. Wade Barrett taunting the crowd by saying he was gonna bullhammer elbow Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Was that just something, for the match, or could that be a hint of something else?
I think he was just taunting the match. I think they're trying to do with this Raw, to 20th anniversary Raw. They're trying to bring back a lot of the big names. I think he was just there as a big name. He's not going to be getting bull hammers and getting back in the ring anytime soon, if not ever again, for anything like that. The Dragon's has health issues, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't see that happening.
Cartman, your score for the match with Wade Barrett and Santino Marella.
I'd say, being generous, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5, because it was painstakingly obvious that they weren't going to put Santino over on Barrett.
Next up, we had a rematch from last week's WWE main event, which saw Antonio Cesaro taking on the Great Khali. Now, this matchup was, I want to say this kind of summarized the matchup that we had at main event. It was decent. It was okay by Great Khali standards. Of course, you have to get in his stiff chops. Cesaro's getting lit up in the chest again. Hello, ice bag for Cesaro. But then we also saw the incredible feat of strength. Cesaro picking up the Great Khali and nailing him with the neutralizer. Rick, you had your very first opportunity to see Cesaro execute this move on the Great Khali. Your reactions?
I was like, holy shit. Cesaro, it continues to impress me each and every week. And like I said, when I first saw this guy, I really thought this guy was going to be just a joke. He's going to be a nobody. But you know what? I am totally wrong, and I completely take that statement back each and every week as he continues to impress me each and every week.
Cartman, now, as we saw on a on WWE main event, an issue becoming between The Miz and Antonio Cesaro. We kind of saw that kind of further develop in a way with The Miz being on commentary. Is this WWE's way of hinting of a feud between Miz and Cesaro over the United States title?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because they wouldn't because Miz wasn't on commentary at all during Monday Night Raw, but they brought him out for that match, which seems that they're kind of trying to start something between Miz and Cesaro.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, but I'm going to pump it up to 3.5 for two reasons. One, Natalia out there, and Natalia is hot. I don't give a crap what anyone else says. And two, Miz being out there, and Miz always a great addition on commentary. And I really would like to see something develop between Miz and Antonio Cesaro. It's got something really, really in the making, and the fact that they could use the United States title in the feud could really, really bolster the prestige and get the prestige that the United States title used to have in wrestling back to that level. Because you got
Well,
two really great superstars in Cesaro and the Miz, and you just can't go wrong with these two guys.
Well, now Royal Rumble is 20 days away. Could they actually put something together within the next 20 days, or you think they might have to push it to Elimination
Um,
Chamber?
I'm thinking they may be able to get a feud started by the Royal Rumble, because you figure they got Raw's SmackDown main event for what, the next 3 weeks?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that gives them quite a bit of time to get something started between them two.
Yeah, Cartman is correct. They don't have to really just build the feud on Monday Night Raw. We got, they got the additional programming. We seen something start on WWE main event. And who's to say that they can't really, use some of that on Friday Night SmackDown to kind of build into it? So, in essence, yeah, we got about 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks until Royal Rumble, but that's 9 different WWE programs, 9 WWE programs, if I can learn to talk right on this review, for them to utilize Cesaro and Miz and build something between them two. So I think they really do have an appropriate amount of time before the Royal Rumble to actually start something and build it up for a pay-per-view match. Speaking of something that needs nibbled up, but apparently they gets to keep doing him anyway, poor Mr. Brad Maddox. He interrupts Paul on. By the way, 3.5 out of 5 again on Cesaro and Great Khali. If you guys didn't hear it first, but Brad Maddox and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's on the phone. Next thing you know, we hear. Psst, psst, and Brad Maddox appears with this guy filming for his YouTube channel. Again, I've had the chance to check the Brad Maddox experience, and I really didn't experience anything, to be honest with you. So I really don't know what Maddox is doing on his YouTube channel. I will say this, the one and only video I saw on his YouTube channel, utter crap.
I experienced boredom.
I'm surprised you experienced anything, to be honest with you, when you watch that. But it's not very often I agree with what heel Paul Heyman is saying in a promo against someone, but I definitely agree with what he said against Maddox. He doesn't want him to talk to Punk. He doesn't want him to talk to me. He doesn't want him to talk to anybody. And I kind of feel that same way. They really do something different with Brad Maddox, because it's just getting, drawn out and, to be honest with you, boring. They're having Maddox just do the exact same thing over and over again. He's a new era Colin Delaney, as the silly man actually ever so eloquently put it one time before. So let's get off of Brad Maddox as Rick. We go into Sheamus as apparently Sheamus was cutting a promo before this matchup, and about the fact he's in the Royal Rumble, where he gets the worn out RKO'd 3MB and starts making light of him and starts making fun of him. Then he challenges one of them to a match, and lo and behold, we could have had a good one possibly with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, but it didn't turn out that way, did it, Rick?
No, unfortunately, I think they're trying to keep those two kind of separate because let's face it, if there's any real true talent in the 3MB, it's probably Drew McIntyre. Why he's in there, I honestly don't know. I even said that I do have some respect for Heath. I would have some respect for Heath Slater if he would get rid of the gimmick because he can wrestle. I do had some respect for him back in 2012 when he was jobbing to all the legends. But
Hmm.
moving on, the match itself, again, this was one of many squash matches that were tonight. Some were elongated, some were really quick, but this was just, to me, I thought it was just another squash match. I wrote, that Sheamus was going to defeat Jinder Mahal with a bro kick before the match even started, and guess what? He won with a bro kick. I didn't even have to watch the match. Sorry. You know, I'm giving it a 2 out of 5.
The long-awaited matchup that everyone has been waiting to see, Cartman, happens next. The WWE Championship on the line. Tables, ladders, and chairs. CM Punk defending against Ryback. Blatantly obvious what was going to happen. Cartman, did it happen?
Yep. What I gotta say though about the match, it was pretty. It was actually a really good match in WWE standards. Because WWE matches as of late have been becoming utter shit. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that match actually was actually a really good match.
Um, Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Cartman there. That was an exceptional match. I thought they were gonna, really, it was gonna be, it was a lot better than the Hell in a Cell match. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
The ending was kind of shit, but
Because it was so blatantly obvious what was going to happen. That's exactly
yeah,
why. Of course, you have to keep the setup between Punk and The Rock. We have to keep that. You can't do Ryback and The Rock. It would make no sense for
and of
Ryback
course,
to be champion and going against The Rock.
we have, Ryback can't lose cleanly because that would kill his whole push. And so, but if you think about it, Ryback every time he's faced CM Punk has lost, one way or another. He's lost.
Yeah, thanks to the Shield. Always against the Shield, we're having the problems.
No, not always. It was also against Brad Maddox.
Yeah,
He's
and
not won cleanly, but you know what though? That's what heels do. So if you think about it that way, he's not won. You could say but at the end of the day, he's not won against
yep,
um,
yeah, Brad Maddox and the Infinite Dick Punch of Doom, and of course we have the Shield with Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and robotic Roman Reigns. So I really don't understand the constant usage of this, and it kind of makes me wonder. Like I said, so blatantly obvious on this, but with CM Punk and The Rock being worked up next, and one's gonna wonder if the Shield's gonna be a factor in this story. One can only tell. Cartman, your score for tables, ladders, and chairs. CM Punk defeating Ryback.
I'd have to say definitely 5 out of 5, hands down.
Next up, we have basically what's called in the wrestling industry a filler match. Where Kofi Kingston comes out next, to go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. Big Show's in the ring, is his opponent. Kofi is kicking Big Show repeatedly. The referee goes in to break it up because they were in the turnbuckle, and boom! One big knockout punch. Kofi is out like a light. Big Show covers him for the 1-2-3. Match over. Again, basically a filler match. That's all it was. 3 out of 5. But next thing you know, we get the big moment, the big segment of the night, the return of The Rock. But of course, we had to have CM Punk come out first to, bring some heat on himself. Rick, I want to go to you first. Your thoughts on Punk's promo before The Rock came out?
I kind of liked it. He pretty much just retwisted. He came out and just said a lot of truth about, how people are just playing into everything. He says he didn't, he did, of course, the typical, I didn't buy, I didn't sell out, I bought in. And, you guys are all just being puppets. Of course, that's when The Rock came out and, and saying they aren't the voiceless. Everybody here has a voice, and that's what kind of scared me. I thought they were gonna do some kind of raw active, and then I'm like, oh, maybe he's doing a twist. Twitter thing, and then, it just snowballed even worse. What do you think?
Well,
Billy?
yeah, it could, yeah, it was, one thing, aimed towards Twitter because of the fact of, we had John Cena last year becoming the Fruity Pebble, and now this year, 2013, we got The Rock turning CM Punk into the Cookie Puss. I mean, that's the one point in the promo I just really didn't understand. But then again, it's all about when it comes to WWE, and the social media. It's all about getting the hashtags out there. And for all we know, at the time of this recording, that Cookie Puss could probably be one of the number one trends in the world right now on Twitter. You never
I'm
know.
checking.
You never know.
I'm checking.
But while you're checking that, Cartman, your initial thoughts to The Rock's promo and what he had to say against CM Punk.
Most of the promo, um, I, I think Punk actually cut a pretty good promo. I'll be honest, Punk cut a pretty good promo. But and by the way, no, it is not trending. But
Not yet.
Not
not
yet.
yet. But yeah, not yet. But well, CM Punk is, but the thing isn't. But yeah, like I said, the segment, there's a couple things that Punk could have done better to kind of sell the match, but overall, I'd say a pretty good promo. I'd say probably a 3 out of 5.
CM Punk at that point in the promo lays the WWE title belt on the down and starts to turn up the seriousness juice, saying that you can give me all the insults you want, just realize coming the Royal Rumble, I'm going to kick your ass over and over again. And then The Rock responds, come 20 days time, your time is up. Then Nick, delivers the rock bottom. The crowd goes nuts. Rick, I gotta ask you, the hype for the return of The Rock on this first episode of Monday Night Raw, has it helped the WWE at all or hurt?
Well, it's definitely helped. I mean, you could feel, and I use no pun intended, the electricity because people were pumped. You could see people were visibly psyched to see The Rock. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of fans who like The Rock. So, will it help the ratings? You're gonna have to see. The ratings will tell. I mean, maybe I could be. We always say, we've talked about this earlier, how they say that's like a small base of the ratings find out, but I guess that's who's really going to start watching it more and more often? Who knows? I've never really I haven't been a Rock fan only for the simple fact that he's never really around. I mean, he's going to do this thing, and once it's all done with the Royal Rumble, even after WrestleMania, he's going to be gone again, and that's the hard fact. So why pay attention to him?
This
You know what I mean?
segment, guys, is going to get a 4.5 out of 5. Because in essence, look what we have here in one promo. We have what's unquestionably two of the best talkers in this business, two of the best guys on the mic in one promo. CM Punk, the master of the pipe bomb, and on the other hand, we got The Rock, who's very charismatic. He's always got great things to say. He's always got, that's why the man has so many catchphrases. It's because the man has just got so much charisma on the microphone. It just flows through, and it just becomes a catchphrase. The only reason why I deduct 1/2 of a point out of this promo is for the Cookie Puss, because I honestly don't get it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe somebody out there could inform me. I don't know if you guys can inform me, but the Cookie Puss thing. Only thing but the only thing I could reason for is for the social media, for the Twitters, for the Facebooks, to go out there, and for the people, guaranteed next week on Monday Night Raw, I guarantee they will have at least 1 to 5 Cookie Puss signs in the crowd.
Yeah,
of course. But I myself gave the segment. I mean, it was definitely a 4 out of 5. I liked. I mean, it was definitely great. Like I said, it's just I haven't been a Rock fan in years, so it's gonna take a little bit more than one great segment for him to,
But you do admit,
psyched.
though, it was a great segment.
It was a great segment, absolutely. And like I said, but I mean, people just get super psyched when The Rock comes back. Like, oh my God, The Rock's back. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it was what he did was a lot more original. He did some new stuff. you can't be psyched for somebody who just doesn't have no passion for the business. That's just the way I see it.
But you can't.
Exactly. Couldn't
But
agree
you
with you more.
go ahead.
I was just saying I couldn't agree with what he said more. It's the truth.
All right. Well, overall score on this week's Monday Night Raw is going to get a 4 out of 5 for me. We open an Eve tour as WWE is really investing some time into this one, and so far it's been the only time where I'm actually interested to watch the WWE divas on TV. To see them wrestle rather than doing something else, which will remain unmentionable here on WGS-TV. Team Rose Scholars and Team Hell No. Again, WWE putting some time into the tag team division. They're really putting some stuff into Road Scholars and Hell No. And a lot of people would think, one would think, with Scholars' victory over Hell No, that we'll probably see a tag team title between these two teams, either at next week on Monday Night Raw or possibly at the pay-per-view. Randy Orton defeating Heath Slater, or in essentially 3MB in a sense. A no-brainer on there. Wade Barrett and Santino Marella. I thought it was okay, and I will say this for a promo: Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has not lost a step. He's kind of in that same league as Double A Arn Anderson. They're two guys who will always be really great talkers. It doesn't matter at what age or what time they come in. They will
Absolutely
will always be really great talkers. Also, with being great wrestlers in their heyday. I mean, one of my favorite Ricky the Dragon Steamboat matches of all time, alongside his matchup with Macho Man Randy Savage, was him and Ric Flair over the NWA World Heavyweight title at a Clash of the Champions back in 1989. It was a phenomenal match. Antonio Cesaro and the Great Ali. I thought it was okay to see, but again, to me, it summarized what their match was like at main event. But again, a great feat of strength by Antonio Cesaro to pick up the Great Khali, and also great use of The Miz on commentary to kind of put over something between Cesaro and The Miz over the United States title. I really want to see that develop even more. Brad Maddox, why are you on WWE television? Sheamus and Jinder Mahal, well, we heard what Rick had to say. I for one, missed it, so I'm not going to say anything about it. CM Punk and Ryback TLC match, by far, strongest match of the night. But it was just so blatantly obvious what was going to happen with Ryback and the Shield, but it did not take away from the excitement that the match brought.
No, absolutely. That was an incredible match. Absolutely.
It was.
One particular spot, they were constantly using the ladder. I mean, one point we saw CM Punk being suplexed on a ladder. Next, we see a spot where Ryback gorilla presses CM Punk and throws him onto the ladder. Those are things I've never seen before. I mean, they pulled off some really, really good spots in this TLC match, and I will give it to them. Best match of the night. Big Show and Kofi Kingston, again, I said it before, it was a filler match, that's all it was. And, of course, best segment of the night, and man, what a way to end your first Monday Night Raw of 2013 with CM Punk and The Rock. I was very entertained with that. I love the opening match, and we had a great opening with Cena and Ziggler and a great match, and then we ended it with a great segment with CM Punk and The Rock. You literally almost had chills going up and down your spine, knowing that you had two of the best talkers in this business in one promo. Lord knows what was going to happen, and we all saw it end rock bottom, giving the bottom to CM Punk. So I thought a great show, 5 out of 5. I want to start with Cartman. Your overall score and thoughts on Monday Night Raw.
I'll just say as much. One hell of a show. I'll say that much. One of the better WWE shows in a while. Because last 2 or 3 weeks, Raw has been utter shit. SmackDown normally isn't that good, and main event is not that good either. But
they have their moments.
What?
They have their moments, and it's not all the time that they're bad.
Well, last 2 weeks, like I said, Raw's been utter shit.
Well, Raw, yes.
Yeah, Raw's been terrible the last few weeks, but yeah, like I said, it was one hell of a show overall. I like the way they built matches. It seems like they tried to kick off the new year with a bang, and hopefully they can keep up the rest of the year the same way this year was. I'm gonna say is hopefully this next year, this year can be as good as first Monday Night Raw of the year was.
Exactly.
But overall, I'd say show overall score, I'd say a 4 out of 5.
Let's go to Shining Star Rick Starr and get his thoughts and his overall score on this week's Monday Night Raw. Rick, your thoughts?
I wouldn't say it was. It was definitely. I will have to agree with Cartman. It was a better Raw over the past couple of weeks, but there was still a lot of dry, some shabby spots of Raw this week. I'll start off like saying the opening and the opening segment and the matches, definitely great match. Was excellent. The even Caitlyn match, not too bad. The Rhodes Scholars team tag team match, really decent. I didn't care for the Orton Heath Slater match. It was a bit of a shabby, but and of course the high matches, high points were the Antonio Cesaro match where he took Kakali down with the Equalizer, and of course the CM Punk match in the Rock segment. So those are all, overall. I'd give it a 3.5.
So what we want to
Which
know.
last week?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm done.
All right. Well, what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video, guys. Rick Starr is again the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Rick, what you got coming up?
Well, this show is going to be recorded on our page on our Blog Talk Radio / Hardcore Wrestling Radio, and then Wednesday, of course, we're going to be doing our show, which is now going to be aired at 11 o'clock. But the week after that, we're going premium, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
So, guys, be sure you tune in for that. That's blogtalk.com/hardcore every Wednesday. Make sure you guys tune in to that. Light it up with Rick Starr, and of course, sometimes yours truly makes guest appearances on there as well. Cartman also has his own YouTube channel, youtube.com/KillerXKenny. Cartman, what you got going over on your channel?
Nothing much at the moment. I'm waiting till I get my new editing program, which I should have in the next couple days. So I actually can edit my Far Cry 3 Let's Play, which will be up, I'm saying, probably within the next week. But as of right now, really nothing that special, really, unfortunately.
And don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the man simply known as Cartman and the shining star Rick Starr, I'm Double B Billy Bujo saying, what the hell is Cookie Puss?